Hey guys, Strong Soon here again, and today I'll go over what I would do for forges and runes for the troops. So, getting off right off the bat, got Knight. Knight, you have the option for the Fearless. Now, I personally haven't got the level 6 rune for it, but unless it's the Ogre, always go for the level 6 rune. If you were, depending on how you're using your knight, if you're using it mainly from the mummy spawns when you have the mummy war boost, uh, I'd probably go with health because I kind of use it as a sponge and it sponges up all the damage. Up to you though. Speed, it sort of dies instantly, it doesn't really matter. And damage, it doesn't really do that much. It already does a decent amount of damage. A little bit extra damage isn't gonna make a big deal, and range, you don't need range. In terms of forging, you gotta go with speed first. Get that troop to come as soon as you can, and then just alternate between health and damage depending on how you use it. I wouldn't really focus on this troop. You're never going to use it. Archer. Now this is probably my favourite troop, only when it's suitable for me. I also haven't really got any runes on it. Haven't been bothered. Yeah, nowhere near the level 6 rune. If you were to go for another rune, I'd probably go. Honestly, I'd probably go. Can you do attack rate? Yeah, I'll do attack rate just so it could fire the arrow a bit more because I think it's like 1. Yeah, if it does it a bit fast, that'd be cool. Do range first, just so that way it can shoot a bit further from a further distance, and then I would then go for health and then damage. And the reason behind that is just so that way it dies less fast and then it does a bit more damage. Paladin, depends on how you're feeling. Rune wise, you gotta get at least a minimum level 3 increased range. This way you can attack fireball towers, lightning towers, all those stuff that's a bit far away from the path. And then attack rate I went with, just so that way I can spawn the dragons a little bit faster. In terms of forging, speed and attack rate, I would go first. Speed, so that way it gets there faster, and then I would go attack rate, so it spawns faster. And then lastly, I would do health. The reason behind that, it's already got a lot of health. You don't really need any more. Ogre's the most useless troop. You don't even need to bother about it. But if you were to, I would go speed because it's really slow, then attack rate, and then health. It's already got a lot of HP. But unless you're using it in the lower levels, you're never going to use it. It doesn't do it. Like, look at this. You compare the Paladin's damage to the Ogre. It's like what? 700. It's not that big of a deal. And the stun sort of just dies instantly to everything else. Froster. Oh, I've got a 6 rune on it. You're gonna need to get health. It literally has no HP. Go health first, forge that straight away, then do damage. Once these two are max, then go resistance. Resistance doesn't really matter. If I was to get a second rune on it though, I'd probably go attack rate, just so that way it can spawn the Frost Dragons a bit faster. But then again, it always comes down to where do you best use the Froster. So for me, I use it on attack to prevent the gargoyles from destroying my tent, so I like to have a lot of HP. I find that 783 damage is already sufficient enough. It does the job. But yeah, gargoyles, you can use it on both offense and defense. Definitely go for speed. If I was to change health, I would go damage. A lot of people do damage. I don't know. I used it for health because I didn't want it to die so quickly. Forging wise, definitely go with speed first. So, and damage. And then HP you can do last. That doesn't really matter as much. But speed, damage. Cannon. Now, I think it's good lower levels. Also good as an insta troop. Personally, I don't use it, but could be good. Increased range, so you can shoot the tower on the other side of the lane. And then HP, just so it doesn't die. I would go damage first if I was to forge it, then health, then resistance. Resistance, even though you're doing it later on, is quite handy because, as you can see, it does have a very high weakness to fire. So if there's a firebolt tower, you got to really protect it, like shields and monks and all that kind of stuff. Pyromancer, pretty good. Personally, one of my favorites. Level 6 rune, get it. Doesn't matter what level it is, level 5, level 4. I'd probably go level 4. You got to get it. And attack rate, personally, I just find that the more like the lava ball bouncy things, and the more of the lava coils that come around from the pyro, just so much better. If I was to forge it from scratch, I would definitely do range first, just so that way it hits a bit further away, then attack rate so it attacks faster, and then health last. You might notice that I'm talking about health last most of the time. The reason behind that is you can just spawn another one, but if it does more damage and it's a little bit better at doing its attack, that's what counts. Mummy is very good. I've got the level 5 rune. I haven't even unlocked the second slot, but if I was to use something else, I'll definitely go attack rate or speed. In terms of forging though, speed first, then attack rate, then resistance. Reason behind that, speed, so gets to places faster. Attack rate, so that way attacks faster, which is just handy. But normally I use the mummy as a bit of a meat shield, which sort of just dies instantly. So for me, speed is the best way to go. Blaster, only really useful when you have the healing one. It's a frenzy. I don't know what it's called. It's one that does healing. I think when I did this, I did range first, then attack rate, then health. But it kind of dies, so I'll probably go health first, then range, then attack rate. If I was to forge it, health first, that way it doesn't die. Range, so you can go faster, further away. Attack rate, so just faster. Definitely have to get the HP rune, and probably go for an attack rate rune as well. The wolf. Now, this one's pretty good. Oh yeah, I've got a level 6 rune for it. Yeah, just do it. It's kind of useless, the wolf pack. Don't really know what it does, but it sort of like spawns these wolves, and then they don't do anything. I would go health. Health originally was the way to go, so that way it would survive a blizzard because everyone used blizzard. Not so much important nowadays, but I'd go health. Then I'd go attack rate, so that way I can howl more often, and then I'd go the howl range bonus. I used an attack rate so I can attack more faster. Personal preference, again, choose what you use it for. Mortar, I need the level 6 rune for this, but I'm a bit far off. Get the level 6 rune, let's get that puddle, very good. I'm doing increased damage, it just smashes, it just does so much damage. Then for forges, I would go blunt damage first, so that way it does that extra damage. Then I would increase its HP, and then lastly I would do attack rate. This way it does more damage first, then it dies less, and then it shoots its puddles or its mortar things more often. Monk. Oh, this is one of the first troops I ever forged after like the knight and the archer. This thing here, I just love the monk. I use it to this day. I've been using it for years. You gotta go with HP first. Just if it's there, if it's alive, you know, the extra 5,800 health is just going to help you out so much. Probably should update the rune. Actually, I will update the rune. Then I would go heal range, just so that way it heals a bit more. And then I would go damage, because you don't really use the monk for damage. Necromancer, I would go for cooldown first, then health, then damage, just so that way it spawns the skeletons more often, doesn't die as quickly. And then just the lightning, you don't really use it, so do that last. I would do probably health and attack rate, just doesn't die as quick, and I think the attack rate might be able to help out with the skeletons. But I don't really know much about the Necromancer, don't use it. Viking, only really good on defense when it has the Conquest boost. I would personally forge the speed first, then I would go for attack rate, and then I'll go for health. So a bit faster, then it smashes more often because it does a lot of damage, and then just so it dies less quickly. I got it with the level 5 rune, couldn't bother to get to level 6. If I was to put another rune on it, I would definitely do attack rate, just so that way it just smashes more often. And last but not least, we have the cultist. Now, I actually made a video on this a little while ago. It's alright. It's kind of only useful in defense. If you use it in offense, you know, a round of applause. Oh, yeah. I would do evil eye chance right off the bat. Then I would do speed, and then I would do health. I used level 6 rune, and then I also increased its health because I just found it kind of died. But in terms of forging for the health, the reason why I say do it last is it's so slow. It's so slow. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next